shocking. It's written about in the book of Revelation. Could it ever happen? The answer is, unfortunately, yes. Total population control. Bill Binney says that's what the National Security Agency wants. He should know. He was technical director of that agency and worked there for more than 30 years. He became one of their top analysts, perhaps the best code breaker in America, before he resigns because of their domestic spying programs. He's with us now from Washington. Bill, thank you so much for being with us. We're glad to see you.
Well, thanks for having me.
You've said that the ultimate goal is total population control. In a democracy, that is really scary business.
It's actually a totalitarian process that's been used down through history. I mean, that's what totalitarian dictators, states, that's what they want to do. They want to know everything about the population so they can control it. That was the idea behind the Soviet Union, the East German Stasi, that was their idea, and the Gestapo and the SS, and down through history, many others. So the real problem I see is that the capacity is, when you're looking at electronic activity of individuals, like when you use a credit card or when you make a phone call or email anybody on the internet or do chatter on the internet, that can be monitored in near real time if they're necessary. Otherwise, they can capture it, collect it, store it, and then retroactively analyze it. So it's something that it provides the opportunity to monitor everybody in the country, in fact, most everybody in the world, in near real time throughout the day. And that's really a 1984 on steroids, really.
All right, now let's take Mrs. Joe Average living in Topeka, Kansas, and she goes to the store and buys something with a credit card. NSA's got that right then?
They have electronic data. They'll collect financial transactions, sure.
The Bible makes a statement in the book of Revelation that people could not buy or sell without the mark of the beast. And you said, okay, there is no way that there's any governmental agency that could enforce something like that. And what this man, who is the technical director of the NSA, former technical director, is saying is that the government now has the technique to do this worldwide.
I'm going to be in conversation with Dakota Gruner. Dakota is the executive director of an organization called ID 2020. You're going to learn what that means and why it's so exciting in just a minute.
For digital identity to be useful, and I keep returning to this, it's really important that it's something that's persistent and portable, right? You imagine a refugee fleeing from Syria, they cross a border, perhaps they didn't have time to find their identity documents, perhaps that was a risk factor as they fled and they chose intentionally not to keep those documents on them. But then imagine them arriving in a host country or refugee camp with nothing to prove who they are.
was recently granted patent number 060606 for a cryptocurrency surveillance system connected to the human body. Now enter H.R. 6666 to authorize the Secretary of Health and Human Services to award grants to eligible entities to conduct diagnostic testing for COVID-19 and related activities such as contact tracing through mobile health units and, as necessary, at individuals' residences and for other purposes. On May 1st of 2020, Illinois Congressman Bobby Rush introduced H.R. 6666. This act is essentially setting up a nationwide contact tracing and quarantine program